Hello everyone, it's me, the guy who talks about other people for a living. And something pretty momentous is happening. I am moving house. Now, this is something I've done a lot over my last 6 years of living in London, the only difference being this time I'm not going to be living in London anymore. And it's got me feeling rather sentimental. I've been thinking about all of the things I've achieved since living here, from university to my YouTube beginnings to the Eboys to making music. I've been drifting over the London highlights, let's just say that. And one of those was undoubtedly my run-in with Nikocado Avocado at the beginning of lockdown last year. Without his ridiculous Twitter account and barrage of bussy pics, the Eboys may well have never existed. That being said, we would all collectively be a lot less traumatized. Anyway, I just wanted to check in on the guy. I was curious. I wanted to see what he was up to. It's the same old that you'd expect: eating noodles, breaking up with his boyfriend. I'm not sure if that's breaking up with Orlin or with spicy nuggets. And who could forget the classic, buying a $2.5 million mansion? Sorry, what the fuck? Did I just come out of a coma? If so, put me back in it. Knock me out, daddy. For months now, I've been trying to interact with you lot a bit more over on my Instagram. Follow me, you dickheads. And I do these stories where I ask for video ideas. The whole time, there's been an uninterrupted flow of people asking me to talk about Nikocado Avocado. But none of you have been specific with me. I'm not going on his OnlyFans again. I've seen enough asshole to last 10 lifetimes. Please stop making me do this. No one told me specifically that this guy has hit these heights. He's 1 feet pick away from being featured on Forbes. So I've been researching. How has he done this? How can I do this? I don't want to move to Brighton anymore. I want a $2.5 million mansion in Las Vegas. And my dear friends, to achieve all of this, Nikocado Avocado has well and truly gone off the deep end. This video is going to be an update of sorts for all of you that rightfully can't be fucked to watch hour-long videos of super noodle-induced breakdowns. I'm going to be going through some of the meatier aspects of Nikocado's 2021. That being said, there will be zero mention of sausage, so if for some masochistic reason that interests you, go and watch this video instead. Going into this video, I really didn't think there would be much to it. Man eats noodles, breaks up with boyfriend, buys house. The classic YouTube formula. But Nikocado makes a lot of videos. Some might say too many videos. Some might say please stop. And he doesn't just upload onto his main channel, he also has a second channel, and a third channel, and a fourth channel. That's more channels than I have on my TV. Not that I have a TV license, man. Please don't come to my house. I'm gonna try my best to refer to all 4 of these channels chronologically starting on the 1st of January this year. Forgive me if I get something wrong, my Father who art in heaven, for this is a clusterfuck. The year began on More Nikocado, his 4th channel, with his last video on YouTube. Spoiler alert, not his last video. You'd have to really hate yourself to make your last video over an hour long. Imagine finally escaping the infinite hell of pleasing the algorithm gods only to produce a feature-length film. If I ever quit, you're getting 10 seconds of content if you're lucky. Goodbye and thanks for all the views. The next day, Nikocado explains why he can't quit YouTube. The title is somewhat misleading. He makes it sound like Taco Bell is the reason why he can't quit. That doesn't make sense to me. If anything, Taco Bell is a reason to quit. At least until the chilies are well and truly out of your system. And with this much food involved, that's one tangy bussy. Over on Nikocado Avocado 3, he uploads a video on being cancelled in 2020 and how it didn't work. I think this is the side of YouTube that's really been interesting me lately. I made a video on James Charles's recent return from the abyss of cancellation. I'm considering making one on David Dobrik as well. I watched this fantastic video by a guy called Sid. Definitely go and check out his channel. He talks about Nikocado's cancellation, him hitting rock bottom and then bouncing back to reach his newest heights yet. He even talks about brunette bombshell James Marriott. That is a hot piece of ass. Taco Bell back at it again. The truth is, Nikocado never really bounced back from being cancelled. He merely stewed in it, imbibed the anger around his name and played into its intensity. The more dramatic and ridiculous he makes his life, the more people get attracted into clicking onto his videos. The more people get swayed into watching the next episode, the more expensive his mansion gets. An example of this ridiculousness comes on his 2nd channel. His first video of the year on this channel arriving on the 8th of January, a deleted breakdown video. You only need to get around 25 seconds in before the breakdown becomes apparent.
Walmart.
In other news, I'm really happy that Dream has found it within himself to face reveal.
Give me those diamonds, girl. I really want those diamonds because I deserve everything because I'm rich. But guess what? I'm not rich because I don't have the diamonds. Snoop!
If he actually was Nikocado Avocado, I could understand why it's taken him so long to reveal his face. You don't need to tell me what the point of the mask is. I get it now. Let's just leave it at that. Nikocado essentially takes these small moments in his life and he stretches them into these hour-long rage monologues so that people like me take moments like the ones I've taken out of context. He's very aware of the power of short-form content in 2021. People make montages at this point of Nikocado's many cries for help, and they bring him so much attention on all social media platforms. Another one of these breakdowns, which you may well have seen at this point, is Nikocado's wedding saga. From what I can tell, this all occurred on his 4th channel, More Nikocado. You'd expect that channel to be his 4th biggest, but you couldn't be further from the truth. This channel gets well over 10 million views a month. To contextualize that, a YouTuber who gets monetized should be expecting between $20,000 and $100,000 a month from those kind of views. How did we let this happen? I'd just like to make it clear that is for YouTubers who get monetized, because Nikocado is probably quite a distance from being advertiser friendly. But he's made it very clear in the past that he tends not to upload onto his channels that get demonetized. For example, his 2nd channel struggles with monetization and subsequently gets around 5% of the monthly views. But this wedding saga, man, look at all of these thumbnails. Tell me this isn't some of the most ridiculous looking shit you've ever seen. Who can blame the poor bastards that clicked on these videos and were locked into 4 hours of content? I clicked on the first one to get a gist of what's going on here. All I really learnt was Nikocado's a cuck.
And there's been someone else in the mix, you know, Jasper came along and he kicked him out. And then he had Enrique, and I just sat there and watched because it was really entertaining. I like to watch, you know.
Orlin isn't in this video whatsoever. It's just Nikocado talking about how he likes to watch other people from his closet. Well, no, truth be told, he's very fucking far from his closet. A day later, we have Nikocado's 3rd wedding day. Apologies for any confusion there. He had his 1st and 2nd in November. Orlin looks absolutely thrilled to be there on both days. On the 3rd wedding day, we see Nikocado's beautiful wedding dress prepare for some nightmares.
I'm getting married!
He says that his look is inspired by his own grandmother's Orthodox Russian wedding, and then waddles into frame looking like this. I mean this in the nicest way possible. I hope she's dead. Sorry, I don't want to come across badly. If she's alive, I just hope she's a good sport.
There's little poop on your arm. Where? Oh my god.
Imagine your own grandson soiling the happiest day of your life. Hey Nan, don't worry, at least there's plenty of mac and cheese to go around. For a wedding, there really isn't much content around the happy couple. Orlin hangs out for around 4 minutes, then he's ordered to get some cheese for this mountain of mac. He doesn't even get the cheese. Nikocado just magics it out of nowhere 7 minutes later. But who am I to complain? There's probably plenty of Orlin content over the next 3 wedding days. Someone please end my suffering. On the 4th day of weddings, Nikocado gave to us social commentary on the topic of cultural appropriation.
Pray every night. I have my babushka's nun hat. Don't make fun of none.
They then have a physical altercation with shoes and Orlin leaves. It's a shame he's not in the majority of the video, because then Nikocado could have titled it Wedding Day Feet Orlin. Sorry, I'm just trying to cope. Orlin doesn't come back and the video ends super weirdly, as if we're not used to that by now. He says he can imagine himself being in a film one day and then silently eats noodles for 3 minutes, completely abandoning his chopsticks at one point. Maybe he wants to do a silent film. Maybe he's manifesting his inner Charlie Chaplin. The great dictator, more like the great dictator, am I right? Sorry, that was poorly timed of me. We haven't even got to the honeymoon yet. We've got 2 more wedding days to get through. On the 5th wedding day, Nikocado does a blindfolded driving challenge. I'm as lost as you are. We're as lost as Nikocado probably is. He brings back some McDonald's and some dangerous looking flowers. As if the diabetes wasn't enough, Nikocado and Orlin are treating themselves to a dash of nightshade. Orlin is actually in this video for a decent amount of time for once. We're treated to 10 minutes of them interacting.
All my favorite things I like to be married with. So we have some chicken nuggets, which are very merry.
Yeah, because you want to get fatter. You want to be so big that you break the bed on the honeymoon.
But when you've watched one of these videos, you've watched them all. Nikocado and Orlin argue, usually just fat shaming one another, but actually manage to turn obesity into a job. And not just that, a lottery level job. I had a joke about calling them Tweedledum and Tweedledummer, but I feel like if you were to ask people, would you take diabetes for $2.5 million? I think quite a lot of people would unfortunately take the money. The wedding ends with Nikocado farting. Usually that would disgust me, but for some reason it sounds like a jazzy piano chord. Jacob Collier, eat your heart out. We've got plenty of nuggets to spare. Before we get onto the final wedding day, for now, I just want to point out that I found another one of Nikocado's channels. He left a link to it in the comments. It's called Noodle King. It's another mukbang video, but in fairness, this seems to be his most normal self on camera. It does leave me wondering, however, how there are enough meal times in the day for this man to have 5 YouTube channels where he eats enough noodles to feed a small village in every single video. Did I mention that Nikocado got married? I don't think I did. On Nikocado's 6th wedding day, they have Kentucky Fried Chicken. Colonel Sanders, more like can I have your Colonel Handers in marriage? They don't get married. That's the big spoiler for the end of this saga.
The wedding is off.
I didn't like him anyway. Oh my god, their fries are so good. I don't even like French fries.
Hold on, you're not telling me that I just sat through 15 hours of wedding content for the groom to walk out and for the bride to not give a shit? Welcome to the real world, lads. There is no point to any of this. We're all meaningless, miserable ants, never to be satisfied and destined to rot. Moving on, the next few months are filled with supposed infidelities. It takes Nikocado a mere 24 hours to move on from his marriage with Orlin. We meet his new boyfriend the day after the 6th wedding. Here he is. I'm sure he's a big fan of the Bambussy. The new boyfriend's name is Jasper, which is coincidentally the same name as my childhood pet dog. Here he is. He's dead now. His ashes are floating around in the ocean somewhere. I'm okay, I promise. Jasper is completely silent throughout this recording, like my dog. He just sits there looking depressed. It's definitely not Orlin reassessing what he did to deserve this. Fortunately for him, giant pandas are an incredibly endangered species, so he may not have to suffer for much longer. Jasper doesn't last long. Before you know it, Orlin is back to record our final video together. Spoiler alert, it's not. How could they ever pay their bills if they didn't have a weekly breakup video for us? I'm not lying, by the way. The amount of final breakup videos on all of Nikocado's channels is just crazy to me. Why do you all keep clicking on this? Do they have your parents or something? They've been threatening your pets? At least they can't threaten my pet. He's dead. You learn nothing from clicking on these videos. Nothing changes in your life. I'm tired of talking about Orlin, but if you really want to know, he goes missing for a bit. Probably caught the first possible flight to the Sichuan province of South Central China to be reunited with his bichrome brothers. Orlin cheats on Nikocado. Nikocado cheats on Orlin. And as if that horrific breach of trust wasn't enough, Nikocado makes Orlin eat the dream burger. Nikocado, you sadistic bastard, you've done it again. Double smash patty, American cheese, lettuce, mayo, double pickles and extra bacon, and topped with smashed avocado. It's probably the worst thing I've ever read. If you've eaten this, let alone enjoyed it, do not come within 10 feet of me. Do not subscribe. You do not have my respect. I take it back, actually. Do subscribe. You still don't have my respect, but subscribe. And against all odds, by April 2021, Nikocado Avocado had purchased his $2.3 million penthouse. There's obviously a lot of content around the move. His house tour on his main channel is definitely the highlight for me, but a special mention must go to a video on his 4th channel, the first mukbang in my new luxury bathroom. It is what it says on the tin. He hops in the bath and has a cheeky scram. Clothed, might I add. Although apparently he does mukbangs which aren't suitable for YouTube over on his Patreon page. Whoever hates themselves enough to spend their money on that, please let me know if he does a version of this one new. For a friend, no, not for me. From the kitchen to the bathroom to the bedroom. It's a really sleek modern apartment which overlooks Las Vegas. What, am I trying to sell it to you or some shit? It even has a walk-in wardrobe. Or as Nikocado likes to call it, a squeeze-in. The most entertaining part of the tour is when he lies in bed and talks about how rich he is compared to everyone else.
I love watching poor people. They struggle. Oh, I just need popcorn. I could sit here and watch them struggle all day.
This part seems to have really pissed people off, which is obviously the point. If you sincerely engage with those remarks, then you are successfully fulfilling your role in purchasing this apartment. The main response to this video is that this is not a healthy way to get rich. I would again pose the question, would you gain this amount of weight for $2.5 million? I, for one, know a lot of people that would, but Nikocado puts it best in his own words.
Spectacular. That view is to die for.
We are far from finished with the Nikocado Avocado saga, and it is hard to look away from it. I think because you know the result is going to be extreme, whether he dies or he miraculously loses all of the weight, people are really sucked in for the ride. You just have to get through 100 more hours of Nikocado and Orlin making their last video together. I say we're far from finished because to this day, Nikocado Avocado is still making more YouTube channels. I found out he recently started a shorts channel. You know those channels where people upload 10 to 30 second clips from streams or other longer videos? The first video is over 2 hours long. long. Not sure he understands what shorts means just yet, but we'll get there. I've only really spoken to Nikocado once in that interview we had on my channel. We spoke about mental health a lot during it, and that really humanized him, both in my eyes and in the eyes of a lot of you guys that watch the video. What I want to say is this isn't just some character. This is a real physical person who is suffering real physical consequences. I just hope he's right when he says that he will recover from this extreme weight gain before it takes his life, because it's clear that he has goals beyond YouTube. Even in this video, he says he wants to feature in film. I am, however, concerned that what he may refer to as method acting may well be his last role in this world. And on that rather despondent bombshell, I've been James Marriott. Subscribe.